Good morning, students. Today we will start our next practical, that is practical number 4. Develop a program to implement one-dimensional array. In this experiment, we will study the concept of one-dimensional array, how to declare that particular array and how to access the elements from the one-dimensional array that we will see in today's practical. Okay. Okay, this is your practical number 4, program to implement one-dimensional array. We know the concept of array. In this experiment, we will see how to declare and how to implement the one-dimensional array in C++. Okay, see the minimum theoretical background. First, it gives the concept of array in C++. We know that array is a collection of data of same type stored in a sequential memory location. Array is nothing but collection of data, but that data is having a similar type. In an array, in short, we will collect the similar type of data elements together. It is a linear data structure where data is stored sequentially one after another. In an array, the array is linear data structure, means that in that we will store the data one by one in a sequential order. And the elements of an array is accessed by using the index. The array syntax consists the index. The index value is used to access the elements of the array. Let's take the example. In an array of n elements, the first element has the index 0. That means in the array in C++, the index will start by 0. That means the first element index having 0 and the last element index is n minus 1. Suppose there is one array of having size n, then the 0 is the first index and last index is what? N minus 1. That means total number of elements minus 1 is the index of the last element of the array. Okay, there are multiple types of array we can define in a C++, that is one-dimensional array, multi-dimensional array. These are the two types of array that are implemented in a C++ language. Okay, what is one-dimensional array? There is one syntax for defining one-dimensional array. First, here we want to specify the data type. After the data type, here we want to specify the array name, and after the array name in a square bracket we want to define the array size. That means array size defines the total size. That means what number of array elements can be stored in that particular array, that is defined by the array size. Okay, let's take one simple example. Here is one-dimensional array. A age array is declared of the type integer. How to define a one-dimensional array? There is one syntax. First we want to specify the type. So here is a data type, integer. Next, here we want to specify the array name. What is our array name? Age is an array, and in square bracket we want to define a size That means the array size. Here I specify the size 5. So in a age array, the total 5 elements can be stored. Here by using the equal to operator, we are assigning a 5 values to that particular age array. That means in short, this age array consists of 5 integer numbers. Okay. Now you want to solve these number of questions. Here you want to find the output, and after that you want to solve these questions. For example, what is the second question? Which of the following correct declares an array? What is the correct declaration syntax for defining the array? See the options: integer array 10, integer array, array curly braces 10, array 10. What is the correct syntax? This one, because our one-dimensional array syntax tells that first here we want to specify the data type, after the array name, and after in square bracket we want to specify the size. So correct answer is A. This way you want to solve these 10 questions. You can refer the notes and other materials like PPT. You can solve easily these questions. Okay. Now in exercise you want to solve total 4 programs. First program is what? Write a C++ program to find median of 2 sorted arrays of same type. You know median? How to calculate the median of 2 sorted arrays? I will tell you. For calculating median of 2 sorted arrays, first you want to calculate, or first you want to merge that two particular arrays. Okay. After merging, you want to find the middle 2 elements. Okay. First you want to merge the 2 sorted arrays. Okay. After that, you want to find the middle element of that particular array, and next, if that middle elements are 2, then you want to find the average of middle 2 elements. That is, suppose you get suppose you get a 15 and 17 as a middle element, then the average of that middle element is 15 plus 17 divided by 2, that is 16. 16 is the median of that particular 2 sorted arrays. Let's see the example. See here, this is the simple example to find the median of 2 sorted elements, 2 sorted arrays. First, there is one function, getMedian function, which returns the median of 2 arrays. Suppose the array are AR1 and AR2. But here we are assuming that the AR1 and AR2 both arrays are in a sorted order. That means the elements of the both array AR1 and AR2 in a sorted order. Okay. See the getMedian function. In that getMedian function having a 3 parameters, first array, second array, and one integer number is, an integer n value is defined. Okay. Then in that function there are 2 variables I and j. I variable points to the, I variable is used to the current to access the current index of the first array, and j variable here we were used to store the current index of the second array. Now there is another one variable count. Okay. After that there are another one variable m1 and m2 which are initialized to -1. By using a for loop, We are checking the all the elements of the array, that is the elements of the array 1 and array 2 are in a sorted order. That means a smallest element, that is first element in the array. Okay, if I is equals to 1 n, then we are assigning a value m1 is equals to m2, and m2 value is stored at the index of array 2. Like way, here we are storing the smallest element of the second array also, and here we are storing a previous median. See this code. So here in this example, first we use the merge procedure by using a merge sort and keep the track of count while comparing elements of two array. We are keeping the track that count value if the count becomes n. For 2n elements, we have reached the median. That means take the average of the elements at the index n minus 1 and n in a merged array. That is our median. Okay. In a main, we are declaring the two array and we are assigning a values to that particular array. So while after you execute this particular program, first you will get the average merge of these two array. What is the merged array? 1, 12, 15. In a sorted order, 1, 2, 12, 13, 15, 17, 60, 30, 38, 45. This is our merged array you will get after execution. Okay. After that, how to calculate the median? What is the median of the first and second array? 15 and 17. Let's take the average of that two particular array. 15 plus 17 divided by 2. So, what is the median? You get 16. Your final median of these two sorted array is 16. Now, second program, write a simple C++ program to find two repeating elements in an array. Okay. In this program, you want to find the duplicate value. That means repeating value in a particular array. Suppose in a particular array, there are two elements of the same number, two elements. So, this program you will get the program displays the repeating elements of that particular array. This is our second program. What is the logic behind that? There is one easier approach to find all the repeating numbers in an array to use two loops. Okay, here you want to use two loops. Use the first loop for traversing the array and the second loop is to check the current element is already encountered in that particular array element or not. So here in this program you want to use the two for loops. First loop is used to traverse the array one by one and second loop is used to check the current number is already encountered in that particular array or not. So, what is the algorithm? First, you want to declare and input the array elements. Next, start traversing the array one by one. And after that, check if the current element is already exist in the array or not. And next step is what? If it is already encountered, that means print that particular number as repeating element and continue this process until the end of that particular array. This is a simple logic. Next, what is the third program? Write a simple C++ program to find smallest and second smallest element in the array. Okay. One basic logic behind this statement is that first you want to sort a array, and after that you can print the first and second element of that sorted array. That is your output. Okay, are you understand? What is the logic? To find the smallest and second smallest element in the array, first you want to sort the total array, and after that, after sorting, you want to display only the first and second element of the sorted array. That is your logic. You can sort the array by using any algorithm, okay, and you can display the first and second element second element of the sorted array. This is the logic. Next, your last program is to find the missing number from the array. Suppose we are given a list of numbers in increasing order, but there is a missing number in that particular list. So, you want to write a program to find that particular missing number. For example, when user enters the 5 numbers in the order 1, 2, 3, 4 and 6, okay, then the missing number is 5. To understand this program, you should know the knowledge about the for loop and function, okay. That means in this program, we are asking user to input the size of array first, which means the number of elements user wish to enter, and after that user is asked to enter those elements in increasing order by missing any element. Okay, that means this program finds the missing element. What is the logic behind that? Here we use the logic that first sum of n integer numbers, that is n into n plus 1 divided by 2. Here we are missing one element, which means we should replace n with n plus 1. Okay. So the total number of elements in our case becomes n plus 1 into n plus 2 divided by 2. Okay. Once we have the total, we are removing the elements that user entered from the total. This way, the remaining value is our missing number. Okay. This is the logic behind this program. You can solve this program by using another logic also. See the program. Okay, solve these all questions in your notebook. Okay, you write all these 4 questions in a practical notebook. Okay, thank you.